Hello, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Vivian. So today I'll be making a tutorial on how to make an off-shoulder blouse. So this is the lace I'll be using. Okay, so I'm cutting freehand. I'm not using pattern, but I'll be using the lining. So this is the ordinary lining. Then I will also use satin. This one will be directly under the blouse, then we'll turn with this lining. So I will cut first of all with this lining before transferring to the fabric. Okay, so without much delay, let us get started. And this is the measurements I'll be using. So I've divided into the vertical measurements and the horizontal measurements. Okay, so now let's get started. I'll put these aside and I would start with my ordinary lining. So I'll place it on fold. So I've placed my lining on fold. Now to know the length to place on fold, just take your biggest measurement. Okay, for this client it is the hip. So your biggest measurement divide by 4, then you add about 4 inches allowance. That will give you a guide on what length to fold. Okay, so I also drew a line at the top. This is my starting point. Then since it's off shoulder blouse, I'll be taking away the shoulder. That's from the neck depth. For this client, the neck depth is 5 inches. That's from the shoulder to where the neck line will be is 5 inches. Okay, so that is what I'll be taking away. So I'll place my tape at this starting point from that 5 inches. So whatever neck depth you're using, that is what you will take away. So this off shoulder blouse will not be too low. Okay, the client does not want it to be too low. So 5 inches is okay. Now I'll place my tape at the 5 inches. Then I would mark my vertical measurements. Okay, so starting from the upper bust. So the upper bust is 8 inches. I'll mark at 8 inches. The bust point is 11 inches. Okay, the under bust is 15 inches. The waist is 17 and the hip is 24. Okay, then the full length of the blouse is 26. Then I'll add 1 inch allowance for hemming. So 26 is the full length and 1 inch allowance for hemming at 27. Now I'll draw lines. Okay, I'll just extend these points with straight lines. So I have it here. This is the upper bust, also known as the chest line. This is the bust, the under bust, the waist, and the hip. Okay, so now I will take the neckline. Okay, for off shoulder, like I've taught in my previous tutorial, for off shoulder neckline, the simplest way to get it is to divide your bust measurement by 8. Okay, that is the bust circumference divided by 8. So here the bust circumference is 40 divided by 8, that is 5 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch for allowance, so that is 6 inches. Now at this top, this starting point, I would measure 6 inches. Okay, so I'll mark it. So this is our neckline. Okay, now at the chest line, which is also known as the upper bust, I will take the bust measurement here. That is bust measurement divided by 4 because the fabric is on fold. So the bust measurement divided by 4 is 10 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch allowance because I added 1 inch allowance at the neckline. So just follow this step by step. So I said the bust circumference divided by 4 is 10 inches. This is 10 inches plus 1 inch allowance. This is not the overall sewing allowance, okay? This is just the allowance to connect our neckline to the chest line to give us our armhole. Okay, so I've marked this and I have this. So now it's just to connect it. This will give us our off shoulder blouse armhole. So just connect with a curve. Okay, so this is armhole. You need it to be curvy here. So just connect like so. So this is our armhole. Okay, now the next thing is to place our darts. To place the dart, you need your bust span. So the bust span, that is from one nipple to the other, nipple to nipple. So the bust span here is 8 inches. 8 inches divided by 2, that is 4 inches. Now from the bust point, I would mark my 4 inches, but I would add half inch. Okay, that half inch is to help us, because by the time we join the darts, would have the exact 8 inches for the bust span. So what I'll mark here is 4.5. Okay, so I'll mark 4.5 all the way down. So after marking my 4.5 all the way down, I would connect with a straight line. Okay, so just draw a straight line to connect the points, and I have it here. Now at this upper bust, okay, I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. This is it. I'll place my tape like this at the upper bust, the under bust point. Okay, at the under bust, I'll mark 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this other side. So now this 1 inch I've marked, I'll also extend it down. Okay, so just take 1 inch all the way down. So this is it. So just mark 1 inch all the way down. Then at the bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch. So from the bust point, just step down by 1 inch and you mark it. Okay, so this is it. Now I will just connect these points. So let me use this other ruler. Just connect like this. You also connect this side. Then you just connect straight down. So this is it. Okay, so we have this. Now we also come up by 1 inch from this bust point. So you come up by 1 inch, just place your tape at the bust point and you mark 1 inch. Okay, now at this armhole, just measure 2 inches from here. Measure 2 inches, then you mark it. Okay, you have it there. Now from these 2 inches, I'll measure 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this other side. You can take half inch, okay, depending on what you want. If you want it very curvy, you take 1 inch or half inch. So me, I'm taking 1 inch on both sides. So I have it here and also have it here. So this is 1 inch and 1 inch. Now I will draw line to connect from this point to this point. So just connect. Okay, then you also connect these ones too. Then you connect this also. So have it there. So you can see what we have. So now we'll connect this point with our curve. So you use your curve, you place it, okay, like so. You connect. So you just connect. We don't want it sharp. So after connecting, just blend it, okay, to get rid of any sharp edge. Just blend it like so. Okay, and you can see our curve is already out. Okay, we already have our curve. Now, in order not to forget, this dart we are taking here, we'll replace it immediately. So we took 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side, that is 2 inches. So just replace it immediately. So you mark 2 inches. So now we have extended, because if you don't replace it, by the time you cut it out and join, the armhole will be short, so we'll have to replace it. So this is it for our dart. Now I'll place the horizontal measurements. Okay, I'll place my horizontal measurements with my allowance also. So now we have taken our bust measurement here at this chest line, so that also would apply for the bust measurement, so you don't need to mark it again. It is the same thing. We'll add our sewing allowance. Okay, remember that this allowance here, this extra 2 inches we added, is to replace this dart. Now I'll add 2 inches sewing allowance. I like using 2 inches. It's better to have excess of it than to have shortage. So I've placed my 2 inches. That is okay for my chest line and for my bust line. Now I'll move to the under bust. The under bust measurement is 36 inches. Okay, that is the circumference. It's 36 inches. Divide by 4, that is 9 inches. So I'll come to this under bust. I'll mark my 9 inches. Okay, so I'll replace my dart. Remember we took 1 inch here and 1 inch here, that is 2 inches. So I'll have to replace it. So from that my 9 inches point, I'll add my 2 inches dart, then my 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now for the waist is 41 inches. Divide by 4, that is 10.25. okay, 10.25 is here. Now I'll mark it. This is 10.25. Then I'll add my 2 inches dart. I'll replace my 2 inches dart, then add my 2 inches sewing allowance, and this is it. Okay, same goes to the hip area, the hip point. The hip is 46 inches. Divide by 4 is 11.5. So I have 11.5 here plus my 2 inches dart and my 2 inches sewing allowance. So that is it for the hip. Now I will extend the same measurement to the hem. Okay, so let me see. I have 15.5 at the hip, so I'll also extend it at the hem. That is at the full length of the blouse, and the hem also, the hem allowance. So this is it. Now I would connect. Okay, so all the outer points is what I would connect. So just carefully connect. So you see what we have here. Okay, so this is it. Now I would just cut out. So okay, so like I've taught in my previous tutorials, in my previous video, at this neck point, if you want it to be curvy, you can come down by ½ inch. Okay, then you connect it and you cut it. But for this client, she wants it straight. Okay, so I'll just cut it out straight. So she wants it straight because she wants this part of the blouse, the end of the blouse, okay, to be at the neckline like so. So it's just going to be straight. So we'll cut out our darts. So let me hold this with a pin. Don't want it moving. So I just held it down with a pin. Now I'll cut out my darts. With this method of darts, you have a well curved princess dart bustier. Okay, so remember to curve it well. Don't want sharp edges. So just trim this side a little. That's okay. Now I'll also cut out this one. Then cut out this side. So we have it here. Okay, so this is our princess dart bustier. Now I'll use this pattern to cut from the lace and the satin. Okay, then by the time I cut, okay, let me first of all cut out the back for this. Okay, so for the back, this is the method I use because the back will not have the cup, okay, the bust cup. So this is the method I've been using and it has been working for me. Now I've taken my 1-inch zipper allowance. This is it. Then I'll place this part of the front one at this line of the zipper allowance and I'll transfer my vertical measurements. Okay, so just transfer it like this. Then I'll extend the line. So I have it here just like the way I have it on this piece. Now I would also take my neckline. So what I took then was 6 inches. That is the bust circumference divided by 8 plus 1. So at my neckline here, let me place this. So this is my starting point here. So I can just go ahead and mark the same neckline here. This is it. Okay. So at this chest line, I took my bust measurement divided by 4. That is 10. Then plus 1. Okay, remember I added 1 inch, that is 11. Now the measurement I'm placing here, I'm placing it from after the zipper allowance. Okay, so I placed 11. So this is just a different way of getting the back the back piece, because it will not have the breast cup. Now I will just connect this. This is the armhole for the back. So this is the armhole. Now I would, for the back that it will not be deep, so I'll just take my bust span 4.5. Just mark 4.5 all the way down. You mark from after the zipper allowance. Okay, so you don't include it. This is how you place your tape. You mark all the way down. I'll just connect. Just draw a straight line. So I have it here. Now at this armhole, just go to the midpoint. You measure the length of your armhole. I have 6.5. So 6.5, to get the midpoint, just fold your tape like so. So it's here. Okay, this is the midpoint. Then I'll just place it and mark it. So this is the midpoint. Now I'll connect this point to this. Okay, I'll just draw a line from that midpoint to this, my bust span. So this is it. So have it like this. So what I'll do is just to cut it out the way it is. Okay, then when I'm joining it, I will join with 0.5 inch, that is half inch. So that half inch I will use to join it back will give me the fitting at the back. So that will be the darts. Okay, so now I will have to replace that half inch here. Remember I said by the time I cut it, I will join it by half inch. So half inch on this side and half inch on this side, that is 1 inch. So let me replace it. I'll replace 1 inch here, then add my sewing allowance, which is 2 inches. Okay, so I will do the same at this other side. Now so I'll just take my vertical measurement here. So for the bust, this has covered up for the bust. We'll have it there. Then the under bust is 9 inches after dividing by 4. Okay, 9 inches after dividing by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, that is 11. Okay, plus 2 inches sewing allowance, that is 11. Then at the waist is 10.25, which is here. So this is it, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. I have it here. Then my hip is 11.5. 11.5 plus this 11.5 here, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. We have it here. So this will also come down to the other side. So let's see what we have here. We have 13.5. so I will place it. I would also place it here 13.5. So now you will see that by the time you join the front, okay, by the time you join the front, you come to this measurement, because the front is wider because of the wide dart we took. You know, we took this wide dart so that we can have our deep cup, the deep breast cup. Okay, so by the time we join it, okay, we'll come back to this measurement. We'll have it, we'll come back to it. So that is why I take this formula. Okay, so that is it. Just do it the way I'm teaching you. Just follow it step by step. Now connect. Okay, so I have it here. Now I'll cut it out. So like I said, by the time we finish joining the front, it would match up with this. Okay, so now let me just cut it out. So cut out the neckline. I'll just open this up. Okay, so this is my back dart. Just open it up and sew it back when you're sewing. That is just it. And you see how fitted and relaxed it will be at the back. So this is it. Okay, so this is our back. Now I would cut the main lace and the satin with these patterns I've made. So now I've arranged it on the lace. So like I said earlier, the top of the lace would come out like this. So this is how I placed my lining. Okay, so just placed it at this tip so that we'll have it just like this. So when I'm sewing it, I'm not going to turn it. I won't sew it to turn it. I will just sew it the way I have arranged it like this. So when we get to that level, I would show you how I would, okay, join it. So now I'll cut. Since I've arranged it the way it is, what I'll do is just to cut it. So just follow it the way it is and cut it out. So you can actually pin this down before cutting, but you can also hold it with your hand. I would also cut out this side, so you can see what I have here. So I have this piece, then I'll cut out this one, just following it carefully. So cut out this part. So we have it here. So I'll also cut out the satin. Okay, I'll also use this pattern to cut out the satin, then do the same thing with the back pattern, also cut out the back. So let me do that. So I have placed the back, you can see it. So I will just cut it out. So like I said, you just follow this thing step by step, but if you're not comfortable with this back, you can just use waste that from okay, you can just cut it the way you cut other types of that, but this is very accurate. So just follow it step by step the way I did it. So I have placed it on the lace. I'll just cut it out the way it is. So I don't need this edge at the back, so I'll cut it out. So I have my back. So I'll also open up this zip side, okay, but let me also cut out my satin. So I'll use this to cut out my satin, then open up my zip side. So that is what I'll do. So this is the back. I have cut out my satin, okay, so I'll just place my lace on it. This is one part of the back, you can see it. I've cut out the zipper area, and this is one part of the back. So this is one part of it, and this is the other part. So you can see this is the center back. This is where our zip would come in, okay. So this is the neck, and I have it. So I would sew this to the satin, okay, then I'll also sew the lining separately before attaching, so you will see everything. So I'll sew this part together with the lining the way it is, fix my zip, and sew the lining separately. Okay, let me also show you the front part of it. So we have this is the front, okay, and I have the satin under. Remember I told you the edge will be at the front like this, so I'll just place my satin, okay, the way I cut it. So I'll just sew it, okay, all the way down. I'll sew the other lining separately before I would turn it with it. So I'll show you how to do it because of this lace. You see how I would turn in my other lining, okay. So now I'll cut out my wadding for padding the bust. So I'll cut out my wadding. I'm using the thick wadding. So let me show you how I'll do that. So to cut my wadding, I just spread it open, okay, I don't fold it. So this is it, I just open it up. Then I will place my lining up to the under bust, just a little bit under the under bust point. So then I'll just cut it out, okay, because I want the wadding to get to the under bust, so it just give the bust cup a lift, okay. So I'll just cut it out. So here it is. So after cutting it out like this, I'll also cut out the same for this part, okay, to the under bust. Then what I'll do is I'll just shift my fabric, then I'll mark ½ inch, okay. I'll just mark ½ inch all the way down and cut it out because I don't want it at the neckline, okay, so that by the time I fold in my neckline, I won't have it puffing out there or giving me problem of sewing. So just mark ½ inch and cut it out. That's what I'll do. So I'll just cut out this part, okay. and I have it. So this was the center front. Okay, this was the center front. I just pinned it down. Now I will also do the same to these other ones. So like I said, I don't fold it, so I have to cut two of this. Okay, so I'll cut it out like this from the underbust, just like I did for this other one. Okay, so now I'll use this one to cut the other part. So I'll just place it like this and cut the second one. Okay, so I've added my wording. So this is it, and okay, for this side too. Now I'll just go ahead and join. So I'll join this part separately and join the lining separately, then fix my zip, okay, at the back. Then you'll see how it will look. Okay, so you can see our princess darts. Okay, see how well curved it is from the armhole. You can see, okay, seeing how okay standing it is, just well formed. Okay, so this is it. Now I have sewn the darts. Look at what I did over here. Okay, so remember I cut out ½ inch from my wording. So now I folded my satin over it because of this edge. Like I told you, this edge would be like this. Okay, so this is it. That is it. So now the next thing is to fix my other lining over it. So what I will do, okay, this is what I will do. There are different ways of doing it. You can decide to just fold it and sew on it, or you turn it and sew it this way. That is just to this one. You sew it. After sewing that at the neckline alone, then you turn it. Okay, so by the time you turn it, you have it like this. You have it like this. Then you top stitch. Okay, so I'll top stitch this edge so that it will relax. Okay, so it won't be falling off. It will just relax at the neck area. Okay, so that is how I would join my lining to the front. That is how I'll join it. Then this is the back. I've already joined my lining, so you can see it, and fixed my zip. So for the dart, you can see how well relaxed it is. Okay, so this method is very good. After joining the dart, I top stitch on it. You can see it. So this is the back, and I told you to match up with the front. So you can see it here. After joining it, both the back and the front, it's matching up now. So you can see. So I'll go ahead and join my lining to the front, then I would sew. Okay, just sew together. Then for the down, because this blouse wrapper will be tied on it, so what I will do is just to fold the down part. Okay, I'll just fold it. Okay, just turn it in. so I'll not be turning it in with the lining, but you can do that. That is sewing the lining then turning it in with it, whichever method you like. Okay, so that is it. Let me do just that. Okay, so you can see it, I've joined it, got the inside. So this is it. For the sleeve, I'll make another video for that. I don't want this very video to be too long, so I'll make another video on how to make the sleeve. So with that, we'll complete this part. So I have done the bodies, remaining that of the sleeve. So do check the next video. I will drop it as soon as I upload this one. Okay, so I'll also leave the link in the description box below, so do check it out. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Okay, and share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video, which will be on how to make this beautiful sleeve. You can see how beautiful our blouse has turned out to be. So if you want to know how I made this sleeve, just check out the next video. I will leave the link in the description box below, so just check it out. Okay, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Just hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't done so. Just hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell beside it so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. So please give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.